So how do you commercialise technology? Interesting. I would sort of spin it slightly differently. So I think in the old days of IT, you were particularly automating something. So you were actually taking a process that existed and actually changing that particular process to become more efficient, more productive, either taking us out of the process potentially in terms of humans to reduce cost or to improve speed. I think today the world is slightly different in that certainly some of my businesses, we look at business outcomes, and these are business outcomes that probably haven't potentially been solved using IT. But the beauty of developing, I guess, software and solutions means that you can actually look at anything in the new world with a view to applying IT to solving a business outcome. And a business outcome for us in one of my businesses is, let's say in universities, it's student retention and completion of the degree course in time. So actually measuring student engagement and also measuring student disengagement. Well, the business outcome around there is actually retaining course fee revenues. It's actually supporting students when they've got sort of, let's say, issues. Could be anything from mental health, could be academic issues, could be, I just don't like my course, I don't like the digs that I'm staying in, anything of those. We will see a sort of a blip basically well in advance of something turning into a crisis. We're using technology to actually turn what was a problem, which was a counsellor hopefully talking to a student, but now it's a technology-driven business outcome, giving the university foresight and giving them the ability to have actionable insight to solve a problem that actually hasn't happened yet with a particular student. And the commercial upside of that is keeping that student loyal and keeping them paying the money, basically. What I'm looking for in a potential somebody to invest in is a person, first of all. So you typically invest in somebody. Now again, if it's a student coming out of university, they're not going to have the track record in terms of businesses. So you're looking for sort of passion and expertise, and devotion. Sometimes business is hard. It's long gone are the days of working from 9 to 5 and then saying, sorry guys, I'll see you on Monday. The merger between business life and home life has become very, very blurred. So actually that commitment to the idea. And then obviously we want something tangible that's going to be successful. It's not just the individual. A great individual can't turn a bad idea into a good business. So you need a combination of the two, a great idea with business outcomes, something that will solve problems, and a great person that's actually... So a PhD student is typically a focused individual on a particular problem and taking that individual and expecting them to turn into a rounded business person straight away it's going to happen in very limited number of cases or a very low percentage. So I would suggest that you've got to sort of team that person with the right resources very, very quickly. That's helping them turn an idea into a business plan. So they may have an embryonic business plan, but actually turning it into something that is, I wouldn't say necessarily just investable. A lot of businesses you don't need somebody else's money to start up. You can start up nowadays with a few dollars, working from your bedroom at home basically, and look to the outside world as something that's very, very credible. So, but I think getting support into individuals with the great ideas and the passion, is something that needs to be done very, very quickly. Yeah, so the business model in our group, we're a very sales-led organisation. We try to be very sales-led now, but we also be cognizant that the client, we've got to be able to solve problems, we've got to differentiate ourselves. In terms of our business model, we run a really tight ship, so today you can actually have a very small core business and be buying in a lot of services to deliver that. In the old days you had to set up your own servers, your own storage, your own infrastructure. Nowadays you can just buy that in by the hour almost. And I think the same goes in terms of some of the support services as well. So for me, the flexibility and the ability to scale quickly is key with resources you can turn on and turn off as and when you need it. But developing the unchanging core, I guess, of your business is culture is a big thing. So for me, actually having, you've got to have a great idea, you've got to have a great plan. But you've actually got to build a business where people want to come and go on that journey with you, basically. And it's not just people as employees, it's people as investors, as in customers. People have got to buy into you as an individual and your ideas. And then from you as an individual, it then morphs into the company. So what am I trying to achieve here in terms of the culture of the business, the ethos of the business, the ethics of the business, as well as something great that delivers real key focus. VP's perspective, again, we're very collaborative, so it's some of the software businesses we've set up in the recent years, we've actually collaborated really closely with clients or potential clients, and we brought them in to first of all, you're getting your ideas sounded, you're getting your ideas, your MVP refined, but also you're turning them from a collaborator into a client. Once they're bought into you in terms of to helping you on your journey, you can actually turn that into a sale quite quickly. So I would say in terms of I would be thinking about your product from the very early stages. I think turning it into a marketable product. You've got, again, the idea. The product is part of the idea, or the solution is part of the idea, or the piece of software is part of that initial idea. So being able to whiteboard that in the very early stages and have an idea of what your MVP is and the functionality that's going to deliver and the business outcome that's going to deliver is a really key thing for a very early stage activity, I would suggest. We achieve sort of product market fit by collaborating at a very early stage with our potential clients, and having our clients. So the software businesses that we've set up in EdTech in the last few years, we had a university that was collaborating with us almost from day one. They had the problem, we identified they had a problem, but they also then helped us refine the initial MVP and through many iterations. So we've gone from version 0 to version 4 with lots of iterations of each. So I think actually getting those clients on board to help you continually refine over a period of time is if you can achieve it, it's not an easy thing to achieve, and that one thing comes back to relationships basically. So they've got to trust you, they've got to buy into your journey, they've got to buy into you as an individual and as an organisation to help back you with that support. It might not be costing them anything in terms of money, but it costs them a lot of time. So you've got to be able to articulate on an ongoing basis the value that you're going to be creating for them, as well as them helping you create that value, and then actually there's a big saying at Harvard, create and claim the value. I'd apply that to your collaborative clients. Get them on board really early, get them involved really early. It may be that they want to invest in you. We've got a client that wants to invest in us after 4 years of being a collaborative client, basically, which is great place to be. Yeah, for us, scaling is an interesting thing, really. So the latest business that I've been involved with is an EdTech business, working with universities, and I could continue to fund that business, but it's been a growth trajectory of that, and probably actually is in terms of return for our shareholders, myself included in that. But actually, the real opportunity is to scale. So the big thing about scaling up is being able to afford to do that. Actually, you need the funds there in place, so that means you've got to then work back from that particular outcome. I want to grow my business on a multitude of X over an X amount of years. So I've got to plan really carefully around that, but I've also got to fund that. So the worst thing you want to be doing is having a great idea, a great solution, and a great opportunity to scale, but you actually run out of money to do that. You can be the best product in the marketplace, but you may still fail because you just haven't funded it and resourced the idea properly and that scale-up process properly. Hiring a PhD is an interesting one, really. So we do have a graduate scheme where we're taking, in the UK, software development is our area that we hire the most in. So what we've actually got to give them the dynamics are slightly different, actually. Money is not everything to them in the short term. It's more about somewhere where they can grow, it's somewhere they can learn, it's somewhere where they can be supported, and also something where the work is actually interesting. So I think when we first started taking graduates and PhD students, we thought that we'd have quite a high churn rate in terms of we'd maybe get a year, 18 month team of which is the meld of experienced software engineers and developers with actually graduate engineers and developers. And for me, recruiting good talent straight out of university, you've just got to be able to articulate your value. They've got to buy into your business. They've got to be interested in terms of what you're trying to achieve and the work on a day-to-day basis. They've got to have the flatlining. You've got to, and a growing business can do that. That's the great thing about a startup or a scale-up. There's an opportunity for them to actually get involved with something that's interesting and actually grow themselves at the same time as the business grows. Interesting, the difference between the US and the UK marketplace for us. The US is massive, so it's infinite scale. There's a very different language. We speak the same language, but it's totally different. So, and there's the different in terms of culture. I think the British, America, you love success. In Britain, we probably don't celebrate success as much as we should. So, but I think in terms of from our perspective, we follow the language basically. So we launched in the UK, our most recent business. We've launched in Australia. We follow the language to Australia, New Zealand, and obviously we're now scaling up in terms of the US penetration. So make life easy for yourself, basically. for us, US has the scale, it has the common language, but it is totally different. It's a totally different buying process, support process, and different culture. Yeah, so my name's Howard Hall. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called the DTP Group, based in the UK. And what we do is we work with universities, basically, in terms of anything IT related, from infrastructure through to solutions to services. And out of the DTP Group, we've got a number of spin-outs that also work, particularly in that geospatial as well, and vertical. So the customer's everything, isn't it? So where do you start as a budding entrepreneur? So you've got to do some fundamental research there. You're probably actually going to have some contacts already because that's your field of expertise. So actually it's understanding who is going to spend money with you effectively and who you're going to be able to make profit out of. Because selling a business, the fundamental aim in reality is to be commercially successful. The range of success obviously depends on how good the business is and how good the idea is and how good the execution is. But customer research, to me, it's understanding the total addressable marketplace. Now, total addressable marketplace might be geographic specific. You may be just focused on a particular area. You don't want to grow a big business. You do a small business. It may be nationwide. It may be international. But starting small for me is a key. Understanding certain things very, very well, but on a smaller scale, I would suggest. And also being very vertical, being very specifically focused. Try not to cast your net too wide in terms of too many different things. For me, it's better to be a master of one thing as opposed to what we call in the UK a jack of all trades, i.e. somebody who can do a little bit of everything in a lot of different areas. Focus, I would suggest. I think as an individual you've got to be very well rounded, or you've got to have access to individuals or friends or family who have things to contribute there. I think I talk about focus around the clients being very, very narrow, but in terms of your skill set, you need to be able to do everything because obviously that's going to help you understand and deliver and execute your strategy once you've decided what that is. But also it's going to keep the cost down basically. The more you can do, the less it's going to cost you to actually get established, hopefully. Yeah, so our business is focused on higher education, so universities, and typically our target demographic within the university is IT. We sell IT to IT effectively, so we're focused for anything from the CIO downwards. So CIO is typically a strategic relationship. They're looking at strategy and how to deliver benefits to the business. At the other end of the scale, you have somebody who buys things for a living. Now their focus is totally different. They're either focused on price and functionality against a specification. So the way we engage with the universities is we've got to be able to have the skills to work within that myriad basically. So value proposition is really key. So actually having what is your mission as a business? What do you want to be known for? What are you famous for? But in terms of it's a product or a solution or a piece of software or a service, you've got to really be able to encapsulate that and be able to articulate that in a very, very easy to consume way. So people nowadays, they just don't have the time to sit down and have a long conversation with somebody who's starting a business who you're trying to sell to. So being able to an elevator pitch is really important, but also a single sentence that tells somebody what you do, how you do it, and how you differentiate yourselves is really, really key. Yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic in terms of taking success in academia to success in business. And it's, from what I've seen, it's not the most easiest bridge to cross. And a lot of it comes down to you as an individual and your idea, your expertise and your core subject matter. So I think if you can be passionate and, the idea's got to be good for starters. Uber is a very successful business in some ways, but not in other ways. So if you have a great idea and actually can fit that idea into the real world, key. But the jump from being very academically focused to commercial focus, academic focus and success, you've got to be able to the attention to detail is probably a lot higher than, it's back to your jack of all trades approach. Focus, expertise, success in commercial, you need to have a range of skills there that you can actually drive through. Yeah, so when you've got an idea and you've got a business, you've got something you actually sell. The sales process is quite a really key part of that, and I tend to work backwards. So if you put it into a sports analogy, what does a winning season look like? The winning season is your financial year. What is the outcomes that you actually want to achieve in that financial year, in terms of sales, in terms of profit, in terms of clients acquired, and then work backwards. Work that from a process of success back to the starting point. So X amount of thousands of dollars sales leads back to, through a process, to how many prospective clients do I need to target and to be potentially talking to or marketing to. And through that, you're going to get attrition over that particular time. So I would always turn the sales process as a starting point in terms of planning on its head, work from where you want to get to over a period of time and work that back into activity over that period of time to a starting point, which is actually a message, a marketing message, your value proposition, and then pushing that out to whoever actually you want to talk to.